We're joined by Josh Lockwood, who's the regional CEO for Greater New York for the American Red Cross. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you.
The fact that things like Twitter are still working for him, that's a good sign. That shows the storm is not really in its height yet. What's your #1 tip for people, whether it's this hurricane or any kind of disaster, in terms of being prepared? Because I realize, I mean, I've covered a million of these out in the field, and just now that it's hitting where I live, I realize I don't have the kind of disaster preparation kits that I keep telling people should have.
That's right. That's the psychology of disaster, unfortunately, is none of us think it's going to happen to us. But what we see every day at the Red Cross is people it does happen to. So we say to be Red Cross ready, get a kit, make a plan, be informed. And some of those things in the kit should be things like a battery-powered radio. This seems really old-fashioned, and folks don't have these anymore, but if your cell phone battery runs out, you're going to need this to know what's going on. You should not have candles. Anderson, I appreciate you have candles in your home.
I know. I realize I'm an idiot.
Even with hurricane lamps over them to protect them?
It's dangerous.
Yeah,
it's dangerous to have candles.
We don't want more fires in addition to a hurricane. Yeah, so if you can have a battery-powered flashlight, that's a great idea. Lastly, a first aid kit as well. But every family should also have a go bag. A go bag like this. This happens to be a Red Cross go bag, and it can have any number of things in it. But
what do you recommend in the go bag?
Well, some great things to have beyond these items are, for example, your medical prescriptions that you're going to need to stay safe and healthy. Let me see what else.
That's the other thing. You always think, oh, well, I'll have access to a pharmacy or whatever, but these things get shut down and you're stuck.
Exactly.
And hospitals are overwhelmed, and going there to try to get your prescription is not a good idea.
Yeah, you might have toiletries. If you have a kid, you might have diapers. All the things that you're going to need if you leave at a moment's notice. And beyond Sandy, the Red Cross responds to 70,000 disasters, what we call everyday disasters, every year. So those are home fires, when people do have to leave their home at a moment's notice.
They have we did a show on disaster preparation last year, and I got, as part of that, this hand crank radio. That is great because it doesn't rely on any battery power. You got to crank it up, but it does work on that.
That's right. And if someone did want to buy a kit, you could just go to the redcross.org website or assemble it yourself.
You've also got some apps that you recommend.
Yeah, we have a couple of really cool free apps. Again, you can go to redcross.org or iTunes or Google Play. One is a hurricane app that tells you where the shelters are. It gives you weather alerts. It has a flashlight and a strobe light attached to it. And
wow, that's cool.
Yeah, and lastly, it has an I'm safe button that immediately tells all your friends and family through social media that you're okay.
And how do you download that? What is it called?
It's the Hurricane app on the Red Cross website, and just search American Red Cross on iTunes.